Hi guys, I'm Danny, and I started a Sunday gym because I've noticed lately that people tend to go to colleges and universities without actually knowing why they're there. And afterwards, starting jobs that are unfulfilling. So I'm interviewing different professionals to see what they have to say and share their knowledge and experience with you. I hope you enjoy it. Right on. James,
So
how are you
hey,
doing today?
I'm good, man. How are you doing?
Can't complain rather well. The program will be focused on three main questions. What do you do for a living? How did you get there? And how did you know that this was the way to go? So, James Brown, tell us what you do for a living.
Well, I got into real estate investing. Um, how I got here is
Well, one step at a time. So,
yeah,
real estate, like investing in homes that are for rent, for sale. A little bit more detail.
okay, yeah, we can go into that. Um, our main focus is helping people become homeowners that currently can't, like they can't go get a loan from a bank because of some reason or another. So we help them get into a home now and give them time to get a loan to buy the house from the bank later. Um, we work with investors that will buy the home that they're going to live in, and so they rent it until they can own. Hopefully, that's clear enough.
It is. It's also very interesting, and it's also a little bit thematical. This is the last day, the last day that I'm in this place. I'm a homeowner. I bought it. I renovated it. So I'm actually moving on. Yes, tomorrow I'll be moving out of here. So
Awesome! Congratulations.
thank you. And
Yeah,
what you're doing is very interesting. I can tell you that it's not easy. Right now, the European market is quite stable, I have to say, but it's not very easy for a man or a woman below 30 to be a homeowner, to buy the property. I don't know how things are there here. You have to have about, it depends on the bank, it depends on the investor, it depends on the location, on many things, but on average, you have to have between 10 and 20% uh, of the total cost. But the issue that is that once you buy, let's say you buy an old apartment and you try to renovate it, it will be expensive, like really expensive to renovate it the way you want to. And let's say you buy a new one, but the new apartments or homes, they're like empty. So you got to do it as well all over again, which costs a lot of money. And that's basically the reason why people were having challenges. I don't know how, you will probably tell me how things are over there, but here it's a little bit difficult for people below 30 to be homeowners.
that's the same here.
But that's
Affordability.
that's a pretty good thing that you're doing. I love the concept because you kind of like the in between guy, uh,
Yeah.
before they can afford it, and yet to be a little bit separate. That's pretty cool. So were you like
Yeah.
walking on the street one day and you're like, let me be a real estate into real estate business, or did something else happen?
Well, a few things. I mean, way back, like I think when I got in college, my dad told me, he's like, "Hey, you should buy a duplex, 2 units in one." Do
Yeah.
you have those in Europe? Is that common to have it?
Or 2 units in one. Like, give me a definition because I'm
Yeah,
not sure. Like a
one
two-room
building.
apartment.
Yeah, basically, yeah. You just
Yeah,
there's
so
two
the
sides to it,
the
and then you,
standard thing is, let's say for a young person, uh, or not that young, but for a single guy or just young couple, I assume the duplex is like a living room and a kitchen in the same room, but it's rather big room, but it's in the same room.
not necessarily. It's just kind of like, think of it, two separate single family homes,
Oh,
but they
yeah, we
share a
do
wall.
have
They
those,
share a
but
wall.
yeah, we do
Yeah,
have those, but not really. Like most people are just living in apartments,
yeah,
and especially after there's been regulations here. So if you are to, let's say you're a builder, you have to build a building. You also have to buy additional land for the parking space. You have to have at least one parking space for an apartment.
yeah.
So it's pretty cool because once you build the building and everything, you have this area around it, and you can't put just parking slots over there. So you make like gardens and stuff like that. It's pretty. So that's why people are, and me of course included, people are buying mostly apartments, and my accommodation is like a big living room with a kitchen in the corner, and therefore a separate office in the corner because it's a little bit big, a corridor, and just a bedroom. And that's pretty much it, balconies here and there, but that's about it. But this duplex that you say, two family homes, we have them, but it's not very common. At least it's not common in Southern and Central Europe. I graduated in Denmark, which is north, but I don't remember seeing those there, because in Scandinavia in general, they have those, they call them houses. I just call them two-store apartments, because it's not a house, because you just walk into the house and you have, again, kitchen and a living room, and upstairs there are like two bedrooms, and that's about it. So small cottages, but lovely, very, very lovely. You see them, it's just out of a fairy tale of Hans Christian Andersen. It's remarkably lovely.
Yeah. Cool.
But your father gave you a good advice, because I'm an old-fashioned man. I believe that a man should own property.
What was that?
I'm an old-fashioned man, and I believe that a man should own property.
Yeah. So yeah, we're helping people get there. So
that's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Excuse me, because it's getting cold here, so yeah.
Yeah, here too. Yeah, I got my hot coffee.
I actually stopped drinking coffee about 2 years ago, so I'm like now only on vitamin C, black tea, and water.
Oh, okay, cool. I like black tea too. That's got kick.
I'll give you my brand once we're done, because I don't want to advertise here.
There you go. Awesome.
Now, the third question is, I don't know, you probably noticed that, but at least here in Europe, it's a little bit of a problem. The question is, how did you know that this was the way to go? And the reason I'm asking everybody is that, people, that is this stigma that you have to go to college and to university to secure your future.
Yeah.
And for the record, I am not against colleges and universities. I went to college. I have a master's degree. I'm about to start a PhD at some point. So I'm not against academia. I'm highlighting the fact that people just go there without knowing why they're supposed to be there.
Yeah.
And afterwards, they start a job that's, because it's related mostly to the field that you studied. And you end up being miserable, because from what, and correct me when I'm wrong, because sometimes I am, but from my experience, from what I saw and from what I'm hearing, it's next to impossible not to be miserable if you do something you hate for about 8 or 10 hours a day. Those are my views. So my question is, how did you know that this was the way to go? You said that your father encouraged you, which was great, but in all fairness, if this wasn't for you, I highly doubt that you would have went there. You probably would have tried it, but I don't think you would have stuck with it.
Well, okay, so this is funny. He told me to do that. Did I listen to him and do it? No.
Oh, okay.
So no. I did go to college. I completed college. I studied graphic design after I figured it out. Like you're saying, I just went to college because it's like, well, what else am I gonna do? Like that was the kind of the normal way, right? And I figured it out, right? Like in fact, I started out with a business degree, and then I ended up in graphic design. Way different.
Pretty solid shift, yeah.
Yeah. But I learned a lot about business, running my own graphic design business, after I stopped working, directly for a corporation, which I did, just, most people do it, which is fine. It got me to where I am. But that business, the graphic design business, wasn't really getting me to like a retirement goal anytime. Like it wasn't going to happen unless I really built like a team. And I was like, I just lost my passion for it after 25 years. And I kind of at the same time.
That's a lot of time.
That was a lot. Yeah. That was a lot of time.
And Venice, you look like you're 30. So
yeah. Especially with my fresh new do.
No, like in general.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, I'm 53 years old right now. So
you sleeping in a refrigerator or something? Because I'm 32 and I look like I'm 132.
Yeah, it's genetics, I guess. You know, my
Yeah,
folks and my brother, we all look really young for our ages. Yeah, people have that same reaction, like, what?
yeah.
Yeah.
So no, but that was quite a while, and yet you figure it out at some point. So how'd you figure it out?
Yeah. All along I was like, I wanted to at least buy some rental properties to add to like stock investments, you know, because I've got some retirement funds, but they're not going anywhere. And they
No,
go
they're
up and
not.
down, and yeah,
Especially my generation. I'm born in 1990. None of us is crazy enough to rely on this.
no,
We basically count our losses over there.
yep.
That's exactly why I went into, because the accommodation I have now aside, when I was a bit younger, I bought two
Mhm.
incredibly small one-room apartments. Like the whole thing is one room, but it's in the industrial zone of the city, so it's pretty good because there's always somebody over there.
Yeah.
So that's the best investment. I heard a lot about crypto and oil and stuff, but if I can't see it and if I can't touch it, I don't want to invest in it. Now, I'm fine when you're doing this with religion, but I'm not okay when you're doing this with money. All right.
Yeah.
If you can't see it and you can't touch it, you can have faith in it. That's fine. But now when money is involved, I'm just like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Same thing. Yeah, there's so we could go down the rabbit hole of why real estate is such a good investment. And there's risky, there's safe.
Yes, of course.
We like to stay on the safe side. Just it's not exciting, but it gets
No,
the
it
job
isn't.
done. Yeah.
As a matter of fact, I had to learn so many new technical skills once I got involved in that. It's excitement is definitely not the word I'm looking for, because now I have to be like a painter or a reconstructioner, a plumber, and everything. I'm not complaining because those are all skills that are useful. But
Yep.
I'll be honest, if somebody could have done this for free besides me, I'd be happier, a little bit happier.
Yeah. 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 You know, it's interesting. Like when I got into real estate, I thought, oh, this is going to be really hard. There's a lot of numbers and just hard work, especially if you're doing remodels yourself, that kind of
Yeah.
thing. And I thought, well, it's all going to be kind of selfish, all about me building wealth. But what I found, especially with what we do, now I'm helping people become homeowners. I'm helping other investors make money. I help lenders, other real estate agents, and there's all sorts of other people involved. And so that's fulfilling for me. And
It
the other thing,
is. And I've noticed that it's next to impossible for someone to be involved in real estate if this person is not a people's person.
very true. Yeah. It's a team sport and you got to be a relatable and all that, right? Yeah. Um,
Absolutely.
yeah. The other thing I was going to say too, I was a graphic designer. That's a very creative thing. Not all of it, but in
Well,
general,
most of it is.
most of it is, yeah. It hits different parts of the brain, like, because like I would write as well, and that had to relate to the graphics themselves, um, and when I stopped doing that business, I thought and shifted to real estate, I thought, I'm going to be bored. Like this is going to be a grind, but I have to do it so that I can retire.
Now, it's difficult to be bored in real estate. I interviewed, she was a remarkable real estate agent. I even learned that term from her, Sun Belt, like the south of the United States.
Yeah.
And she was quite a real estate agent and a broker, I think. Vina, something I'll remember in a moment. But yeah, it's very difficult to be born to be bored in that sector. Like there's
Yeah.
always something.
Yeah. Every deal I've done is different. There's similarities, of course. You have kind of a
Yeah.
framework. There's always something that's coming up, and so yeah, it can be creative, and that's what I like. I mean, you can just be a regular real estate agent and help people buy and sell homes, but I like the investing side and the creative side of figuring out how to make things work And we don't just do single family homes. We're starting to pivot and give our investors other options. So buying apartment buildings, buying self-storage, you know, mobile home parks, those kinds of things. Like those are big projects where
Yeah,
you got
those
to
are good.
pull a bunch of money. And so we're getting into that as well. So there's a never-ending stream of things to learn, you know.
In
So
all fairness, it's like that. I'm being left with the impression that it's like that now in every profession. You've seen those old movies when somebody starts a job at a factory and he stays there for like 40 years.
yeah.
That's like, I'm sure that they liked it back then. If you ask me, that'd be hell, because I'm an accountant by profession.
Oh, you are, okay.
And in all fair, you know the stereotype, like we're like boring and everything, but with everything today, the different banking systems, different ways of, you know, the numbers and everything, and the different systems you're executing the payments, verifying the payments, etc., etc. There's a new thing every month, and there's a new thing every month that I'm able to catch. Imagine how many differences you have here and there that your brain just don't see it, because you know you're just doing your thing. But the world is remarkably dynamic, so I'm really happy to live in those times, because you learn something every day. And yes, it can be stressful sometimes, but if you are like somewhat centered, and you know your place, and you know what you're good at, and you're aware of yourself, you can manage. And it's pretty good time to be alive, if you ask me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And with that said, I'd like to ask you a final question.
Okay.
You've been all around, you've seen a lot. What kind of an advice can you give my audience? And for me, of course.
Who is your audience?
My audience is primarily people that are just like in beginning of college or in the beginning of university, interns that haven't figured it out yet. I mean, channels for everyone, of course, in general, but this is my core audience, yes.
Yeah, yeah. It's a good question. You know, you have to figure out like really what's going to drive you. Kind of like what's your end goal, right? Like, do you want to be financially free? Most people do, so that then they have options, right? How you're going to get there and what's going to keep that fire burning. That's the thing you have to really dig into. And that's something I had to figure out, or luckily I found with real estate, because like I said, I was like, this is going to be a grind, it's going to be a very selfish pursuit. But then I found how many people I could help, and that fills me. And then that, along with that goal, like I want to get to financial freedom and have the ability. I don't want to stop working.
Yeah.
I want to keep finding cool stuff to do and things that keep me fulfilled. I'm not going to sit on the couch and watch TV.
Sitting
right?
on the couch will kill you.
It will kill you, yeah.
I guarantee you that.
Physically, mentally, all that, right? So I think that's the key for people to figure out, like, what's going to keep them going. Because motivation, you can only kind of keep yourself motivated, grind it out for so long until you just kind of run out of steam. You got to have that, like, that fire burning. You got to figure out what that is. And sometimes that's just, you gotta test the waters. So like for your audience, if they're young, try a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
You know, don't spin your wheels and waste too much time on one thing. If you're like, yeah, I don't know. It's
When you said motivation, because of course I have a bank loan, right? Because you know, you can't just buy an apartment at a young age. So
Yeah.
I said, yeah, I got a bank loan. And the manager of the bank branch that I took the loan from, we actually, you know, started talking. We became friends and everything. And back then I was working for a pretty solid company. I didn't really, there was shift in the management. I didn't feel it right. So I decided to, you know, move elsewhere. And it didn't work out. So I moved there. I had a little bit of a bumpy year. And one day we caught up for a couple of beers. I said, I don't know, man. It's not that I don't have motivation, but you know, I don't think so. I don't know what to do. And you know, he's the manager of the bank branch that you know, guy like owns my apartment, right? He's like, listen, man, I like you and everything, but if you don't find a job real quick, I will cremate you and you will work as a sand clock on my desk until your debt is fulfilled. I just started laughing. Okay, like, okay, I'm motivated now.
That's well, negative motivation. That's funny.
It had a pretty good result. I mean, you don't hear that every day.
Yeah, holy smokes, that he came on strong.
Yeah, definitely. And with that said, James, man, thank you for being here and thank you for the advice and everything. Again, if you got any links, please send it my way. I will be putting them in the description of the video.
Okay, sounds good.
Right on. Have a nice day.
All right, take care.
Guys, I hope this one was useful. Please follow the channel on YouTube, Rumble, Twitter, Gap, LinkedIn, and Facebook. Ring the bell and all the good stuff. Have a nice week ahead, and I'll see you next Sunday.